Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time doing another Christmas film review, and this one is on The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Now, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms is a 2018 fantasy adventure film, which was meant to be a more retelling of E.T.A. Hoffman's story from 1816, The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. And it's meant to be more Disney trying to fit things for their standard. And I heard about this film from one of my subscribers, Kayla Ree Koski, from my review for Barbie and the Nutcracker. Now, the premise of the film is meant to follow Clara, who after getting her Christmas gift on Christmas Eve, finds that from her mother she gets an egg-shaped box which she's unable to lock. And of course, we see how after she gets into an argument with her father at a party, she ends up finding her way into a parallel world where she must help the other members of the Four Realms, which are the Land of Flowers, the Land of Snowflakes, and the Land of Sweets, to deal with a dangerous threat from the Land of Amusement, which is also known as the Fourth Realm. And of course, like any typical film, there is actually more truths about what's going on, and more truths than what there seems to be. And I would say the film tries to be a more alternative version of the Nutcracker with some slight differences. Like Clara's turns out to be a princess, and that her mum created this sort of world. And I would say for the most part, when you kind of got Captain Philip Hoffman, he sort of is like the Nutcracker, but different. And when you've got the Mouse King, he's not really the villain, but instead meant to kind of be a more helpful ally. And I think the biggest problem, with the film is that it tries to be the Nutcracker, but tries to be a more alternative version. Again, I think the point of updating a storyline or changing things is keeping close to the original, but making sure it fits for a newer audience. Something I think DMC Devil May Cry did, Tangled, basically like any sort of thing that can work. But here, it tries to go with a big reveal for who is really pulling the strings. And they had opportunities to redeem the villain, and it seems like they were going the way, but they didn't really want to. I think the problem is, it takes away things from what the Nutcrackers were, but instead trying to fit things for their own standards. And I think this is where I think Disney can do some good films, but here it feels lacking. There is something they wanted to do with the story, but they really don't want to. I think the problem is that when you kind of have the other characters from the other three realms, you kind of expected them to have a bit more chemistry, a bit more explaining what their jobs are. And I think for the most part, when you got the Sugar Plum Fairy being played by Keira Knightley, I feel her character doesn't really work. Again, Keira Knightley can work as an actress. I think if you got her in Pirates of the Caribbean, she can play a serious character. But here, her character feels like a ditzy airhead. She doesn't really feel interesting. And I think for the most part, I would say, is that when you got the star and when you got Clara's father, I think he tries to sound like Christopher Lee, but I feel his character just feels hardly used. Like, yeah, he's stern in that, he's just kind of pushing people away, but we never really see him kind of questioning if he's doing the right things or not. And I think for the most part, I would say the Nutcracker and the Four Realms is wasted potential, trying to be something it's not, and really could have been a lot more better if given to the right people. So I think this one deserves a thumbs down. not good, not great, but not great. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.